Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a psychic / mediumship reading on River Phoenix. This was a reading that many of you have requested. For those of you who do not know who he was or is, his real name is River Jude Bottom, I believe. What's his original name, but everybody called him River Phoenix or knew him by that name. For those of you that are not aware of who he was an actor, musician, very talented guy who passed away at 23 years old in West Hollywood, California, in the Viper Room, which is a nightclub. Apparently he overdosed. That's what the quote unquote cause of death is. But I'm gonna go into the actual soul and kind of bring you the information that I'm getting from a psychic perspective from my spirit guides, his on the other side from his soul. I feel his energy very much wanting to speak and to say something about everything that went on. He was so talented. He was in a lot of the 1980s movies, and then he had a project, that he was working on that he didn't get to. I guess it didn't get out until 2012, but he was dating Samantha Mathis, if I'm not mistaken. That's her name, and everybody knows all of this. But what I'm seeing here when I tune into his soul is that the energy first in the Viper room, the Viper Club, is like, I don't feel like he was meant to go there. Like, they were gonna go to another place, even though there was a group of people that they knew that was performing whatnot. There was some discussion that he would have had before arriving to the club to meet his brother, sister, and other friends there in that club, about going to somewhere else. Like, there was another location that they wanted to go to, and I feel like either he did go to that location prior to coming to the club, because that's what I feel like, drawn to another location, to an apartment, a home. I feel like this is more like a home studio type of thing. Like, there was thoughts of going there, and I don't know, he keeps making me feel like he would have pushed his energy to that and may have visited that place to pick up some things and maybe to smoke some things and do some things there. That it's not something that is new. Everybody knows that he had addictions. He was very hooked to drugs, etc. But apart from that, I feel like it was a culmination of where, like, his siblings maybe wanted to have him stop that and clean up and sober up. And I also feel like he knew, like, his people and his team, were telling him that he needed to do this. But River was very stubborn, is what I'm getting from his soul. He's saying he was very stubborn. He wouldn't listen, and basically he was going through a lot of inner turmoil. Like, there was problems already. Like, I feel like as much money as he made, a lot of that money was spent on drugs, partying, and I get a lot of problems around the relationship with Samantha Mathis, the girl that he would have been dating at the time of his death. Their relationship would not have been perfect. I see a lot of problems in that area, a lot of jealousy and control on his part, perhaps. I feel like she was not, she knows a lot more, but she's not going to say, even though there has been interviews, whatever she's disseminated into the media. I feel like she's omitting a lot of things. I'm not calling her a liar, obviously, but in my channeling of River, he's telling me that there is a lot of other things that people knew concerning his death, because apparently he was like sitting at the bar, or sitting there in the club, and they were passing around some substance, and apparently he didn't feel good, and he let one of his friends know that he wasn't feeling good, and that he felt like he was, he had overdosed. And apparently the friend was like, no, you're fine. If you overdose, you wouldn't be standing and talking. And so he said, later on, that he was fine. And then there was a big commotion in the club. He went outside, and then Samantha was like, oh, he's dying, he's going into seizures and stuff like that, which is very odd that, he would. It's like it jumped from the club in the commotion, and then he went outside, and then boom, he's dead. So that is what I'm getting here to kind of clear this up. There was a lot of focus on money, a lot of greed from a lot of people. I feel like he did have enemies for a person to be 23 years old and so young, but yet he was very handsome, very attractive. There was some kind of deception around all of this case. Did he overdose? Or was he murdered? That is the question. That's what I think a lot of people that are requesting this reading want to know. From what I see here and everything that is being shown from spirit and from what I'm getting from his soul, is like he would have been given more than what the dose of something in his system that he could have supported. Like, it was told that he was like, how did I put this? Like, you can do this and this is just this so many grams or whatever, and he did it, but it was actually much more, and it was a more potent substance that was given to him. But I actually also feel like there was something going on outside. There was someone waiting for him that could have like hit him, already knew his condition, and basically I feel like it's a cover-up. Like, a lot of this is like a cover-up. Is what I'm getting visions of and what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. I feel impact, not the impact of just falling to the ground and boom, but like somebody coming from behind and doing something, either punching me or like boom, and then I fall down, and if they would have, they did the autopsy or whatever, it would have shown like bruises on his body, but I feel like these bruises would have been some type of altercation. Something took place on the outside, and that's what I'm hearing from spirit. So I don't know. I feel like it was a combination of things, but ultimately there's some people that know about this. Like, I also feel like Samantha may have had another guy interested in her, and River found out about this. So it's very very twisted, his death. Like, there's a lot of mystery, a lot of questions, but I keep hearing him say there's other people that know the truth and they're not going to say it. Like, it's not going to be said. Like, there's people that have speculated that his soul is not at rest. People that see him at this Viper room or Viper Club, whatever it's called. The fact is that he did not cross over, immediately. He did struggle crossing over. Like, he's showing me staying close to his brother Phoenix, to his sister, and just to other people, that he cared about. I feel like in a way he haunts some of these people, but he doesn't blame them. It's very weird. Like, he's telling me that, he takes ownership for his passing. Like, he takes full responsibility, but at the same time he knew that he shouldn't have been there. Like, it was like spirit tapping him on his shoulder that night, or that, at this time that this whole thing happened and went down, that he should not have been there. He should not have been at that Viper room. That place was full of a lot of drug addicts, people that were alcoholics. That's common for any place, but it's kind of like escalated because I feel like the club owners and stuff like that knew that a lot of this stuff was going on, and they still allowed it in the club because, again, these are celebrities, quote unquote. So that's what I feel like. I the whole energy, like, there's a lot of regret from the club owners, from the staff members, people that knew about all of this that was going down, but instead of having strict policies, no, because it's West Hollywood, it's in the early 90s, it's, a club scene for like rockers and bands to perform and celebrities to hobnob, etc. It's easier to go and do cocaine and all that crap, there in that club, and there's no police present, and there's not going to be anyone that says anything about it. So, like, all of this is just, it's very twisted. He had plans on traveling, he's telling me. I don't know if it was to fly somewhere to another state or to another city, but he keeps showing me an airplane and showing me that he had some plans to travel. This is either known by the family or his manager at the time of his death, but there was something about flying and traveling. Like, he had plans and other projects coming on that he was working on. There would have been, he's also telling me that and showing me that if he had stayed alive, he would have had some other legal issues coming up. Like, there would have been some legal issues, and eventually more money lost for him, and his reputation would have been tarnished even more so than it was at the time of his passing. Because I feel like some people, mourned him and when he passed, but there were some people that were like, I guess, like, happy. And this sounds very sad and very disheartening to know that there's people that celebrate someone's death this way, like being happy someone died. But this would have been from like jealous people, enemies that he had in the industry, like other actors, who knew that he was very attractive. He had a great shape, just a great personality, of course, in his work. But he was very much a lost soul here in the physical world, trying to numb the stress, the work, being overworked, and hanging around with people that, that had their own addictions. And basically, it didn't help him. Like, he still knows that there's someone from another band, from a band that would have had addictions. I can't say the name, but it was a very popular band, and that person, he's saying that person he has looked after, and that person can feel him. And I feel like he has appeared in a dream to that person as well, letting him know that, he is around and he wants him to get sober and get better. And I feel like for the most part that person has. There's a lot of health issues that they now have themselves. I also feel like Phoenix would have had also like some health issues in addition to all of the junk that was in his system. He would have had some health issues, even though you see a perfect, young person at 23 and they were in shape, very thin. I feel like there was still like a maltreatment of the body. Like, he was not getting enough nutrients. There was some dehydration. There were some other factors that played into the foul play and the ultimately the drugs in the system. But it was a culmination. Like, I don't know if he got into an argument with someone and that's why he came out of the club, and they're trying to cover this up. But there is a cover up. There's someone that was involved that contributed to, fighting with him, exchanging some kind of words that he would have been kind of like in a daze. Everything was spinning. Everything was like, and he was not being able to get good breaths. Like, I feel like almost like when you have asthma, like you are struggling to breathe, and his heart was working he would have gone into cardiac arrest. They said seizures. I see cardiac arrest. I see the heart basically beating 100 miles per hour and then boom, shutting off. And then the CPR would have helped, etc. That was done. But, all of this is very tragic for someone so young. He did cross over. He is in peace. Now time has progressed. I feel like his brother struggles. Joaquin does struggle with the loss, and his siblings, they struggle. I even feel like his ex, Samantha, she would have struggled as well and has struggled, and she feels him around, and she feels guilty. Like, I feel like there are people in his family that still feel guilty and cannot. They wish they could have done more, and the message to them is that he loves them and that he wishes that they find peace, that he is in peace, and there's nothing that could have been done really to avoid this, other than people coming in and forcing him, and that was not going to happen, because he was not that type of person to be a pushover and let people kind of like tell him how to live his life. So regardless, he had a mind of his own. He was an adult. He knew what he was doing. He knew there was a risk, and that's what he's saying. He's taking ownership. And I guess for people that are fans or that have watched his work, the message that he has for you guys is to always treat your body well and not fall into these vices, because it is a spiral and it's very addictive, and sometimes this is what happens. You can't get out of it. There is also something very dark around his death. I don't know if somebody else close to him, like a friend, that would have died as well. But he's showing me another gentleman on the other side with him. I see more of like a silhouette. It's not very clear who that person is, but I feel like there was a series of tragic events as well after his death with people that would have known about what really happened, either in the club, or people that were his friends or connected in his social circle, like series of events. His passing, he's telling me that it created some bad juju that was already there, and I feel like the ambiance of the club itself was already haunted. But it is haunted, and it was already haunted before he got there, and whatever energy would have been in the club, it was working, and they knew who to target. Like, it would have been very attracted to River, because of River's situation and lifestyle, and knowing that he was an easy target. So there was something sinister even before his passing there. Something in this club that was targeting people. And I hear like a wicked laugh. That place definitely needs an exorcism. That place needs cleansing. I don't know if it's still standing, but I feel like it is. I don't know. Or whatever is in that area now, whatever that structure is of that nightclub, whatever's there, it needs to be like cleansed, and it needs to have prayer, etc. Because I feel like in some ways, whoever's over this, if it's still open, whoever's in that area, whoever's managing it, a lot of these people are going to have other tragedies. Like, there's going to be other tragedies that could happen, in the future. This thing is kind of dormant. I feel like there was some kind of work done to kind of cleanse it, and it kind of acted like a band-aid, but for the most part, there's still a lot of negativity there in this Viper room, Viper Club, whatever. And I don't know, but I keep seeing, like his friend, that, kind of dismissed all of this. He has had to like defend himself. That's what River is telling me. He's had to defend himself from a lot of people that have accused him of basically not helping River. And River wants everyone that has done that, to kind of stop, because it's not his fault. There's other people that knew what was really going on. His friend could not have known. He was not psychic, and there was no way that he would have known that this was, even though River told him he wasn't feeling well, like that he would have not passed. Like, all of this was like his exit point. And, he came, he did his work on film, on acting, etc., music. He did that, and he did what he could do, but it was his time to go. It was his time. But at the same time, there's factors. Like I said, this is like a very, very, very complicated passing with a lot of questions that people still have. But I do feel that there was foul play. I do feel like he was given substances that were greater than what the doses that what he had originally had thought he was taking, and people knew about that around him. And I also get that, again, there would have been some altercation, some kind of verbal exchange, someone outside of the club waiting for him, other than his girlfriend. And there also would have been something very sinister inside the club, following him as well, following the people that were after River, on the outside. And there was something of his that was like, I don't know if it was the wristband, if he had like a wristband from the club, etc. But he keeps showing me that, and like someone snipping it off and still having it. I don't know if this is one of his siblings that still has that from the day of his passing, but I feel like there's a bracelet of some importance that's being shown. It's like I see a bracelet. Like, I don't know if this is like the club bracelet or it was just a personal item, but I see like somebody would have something of his. Like, someone in the family has something still of that day. that connects them to this. So that's my reading for on River Phoenix, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit the like button if you like this video, and also subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button on the bottom right hand corner, as well as the notification bell icon. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are in the world.